5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It's Lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 278 is titled Meeting Needs. How do people meet our emotional needs in real life? Who's doing a good job of that? We're talking about that at the table this evening. Please pull up a seat and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later on YouTube at Lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it'd be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what is this podcast about?
At the table, we strive to love one another and help you do the same. Some weeks we will have someone join us so that you can get to know them and learn a little bit about yourself in the process. Other weeks like this one, we dive into a topic. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. That is exactly what we do. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like this is Lunchtime in Rome.
Got it this week.
Nailed it.
Got it.
I'm really glad we have the crowd back. That's nice.
Yeah.
Live studio audience. Audience.
We do have a live studio
British
audience
siblings.
in the chat. Sometimes more than others. We always appreciate that. I'll go first. We have a lot going on since we got back from Nashville.
No.
Good night. We are back to chaos. We have Jay's nephew, Hunter from Huntsman Projects. Shout out.
Built this table.
Built this
In
table.
the early Huntsman. This is a Huntsman original.
Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Vintage.
How's he doing?
He's doing
He's
great.
a good boy.
And he's doing a lot of work on our house. We are so we live in a ranch. For those of you who have not
Ranch
been
style
here.
home. to
Ranch
be very
style
clear.
home. Yes, we don't live on a ranch. We live in a ranch style home.
Man, we'd have some good beef though.
That's right. And we're getting all new floors on the first level.
The whole floor.
The
the
whole first floor.
The whole ranch.
The whole ranch, except for
there we
the main bathroom up there.
Sure.
And
Just redid that yourself a couple years ago.
well, we put nice looking fake tile sticky down on the other tile. Yeah.
Yep.
It took all day. And he's going to paint all upstairs except minus 3 rooms. And he's going to install a new front door. So the house is kind of torn apart. Yeah, I mean, our fridge is in the dining room right now. So it's just kind of living out of.
Yep.
It's like we've moved, but we haven't gone anywhere. Because like we have to. But this is also bringing up something that I'm very excited about, which we'll call the Great Purge of 2025.
Ooh.
We're getting rid of stuff.
Yeah.
We're selling things. We're getting rid of like.
I saw Amy's post.
Yeah, just fire sale going on right now.
Strangers come in your door every day.
Yeah, and there's just
Like what?
just stuff that we don't use. Like probably on Friday I'm gonna go through the kitchen. Because you know that cabinet that's like back in the corner of your kitchen?
No one goes in.
There's things back there that haven't seen the light of day. I don't even know it's back there at this point. I haven't seen it since we've moved in here. Why do we have it?
It's not even the Nagys.
We can use
It was
that.
the people that owned the house before them.
Yeah, we can use that space much more wisely.
An avocado colored can opener.
And yeah. So just
Haunted.
things like that, getting rid of the clutter. There's things in our bedroom that have accumulated.
You gonna do the garage?
We are going to do the garage. That's probably going to be post all of this. So we're getting rid of stuff. We're kind of storing things in the garage right now, and then there will be a purge of the garage because we're due for that too. There's some things in there that haven't been used in a long time, and there's a bin in there. I mean, I feel like every guy like me at least has a bin like this where it's like, you need a cable? I got the cable.
sure.
That obscure cable that you needed, for that obsure thing.
Probably 7 years ago, they don't make the thing anymore.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I have it, but I'm gonna go through that bin.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Well, it's funny you say that because we started, by we, I pretty much mean Rachel, a couple months ago, winter, going through our loft. So we converted for those of you who are sitting at the table with us, we converted our garage, which was a single car garage, actually about a 3/4 of a car garage, into an office. But then the space above it, we were going to make it a crawl space, but it was big enough to make it a crouch space. And I aligned it with paneling to make a ceiling, which then, of course, didn't have any exhaust, so it got a little bit of mold on that. So I ripped that off last summer, the peak of it, which made a lot of dust. And so now it's all dirty, and occasionally we have a mouse or two up there. So Rachel wanted me to just bring everything down one by one so she could go through it and clean it. Now, different from you, she's going through art projects from Joe, from Bella.
Yeah.
And baby clothes that we didn't give away yet. And she's got hoarder tendencies. She's
Right.
not a hoarder.
Not a hoarder.
But like she found a box of ribbon.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Right.
but what if I need to wrap a gift? I'm like, you've wrapped hundreds of gifts over the past 15 years, not using any of that
those
ribbon.
bows, yeah.
She's like, yeah, but what if I did?
Yeah.
But it's just been a crazy process one by
Yeah.
one, bringing this. And she hasn't hit the tray stuff yet.
And it's weird because like I do somewhat have that like, what if I need this cable?
Oh, that for sure.
You know? But I don't need 7 of them. Like I could get rid of one
She
or
found
2.
one last thing. I'm not going to interrupt your time, but she has mine, Tommy's, and my dad's like childhood clothes, like a sample of each, in not a huge box, but it's such a great example. Like,
What are you going to do with
what
them?
do you do with that?
I mean, you could make something out of it. You could do like
It's for the
but, like,
Hall of
but-
Fame someday, the
But when
Midlow
are you
Hall of
going to
Fame.
do that?
And, you
And
know,
are you going to do
And
it?
so many of the art projects, like it's what my mom did over the last 10 years of her life. We're just doing
Yeah.
it because we need to clean out that space. You're
Yeah.
doing it because you got the opportunity to
Yeah.
do whatever. You're pulling Maggie aside. Maggie, what do you think about this art project you did 2 years ago?
Yeah,
You're going to want to keep this for the rest of your life? I need to know now.
We had her fill a box, you know,
Yep.
of
Oh, her
toys,
stuff.
you know, like
Yeah.
toys that like, you know, fill this box up with things that you don't play with anymore. Might do it again.
Good start.
Is that
Yeah.
hard for her? Like,
You know what's interesting is I've been curious about that over time, because I don't know. When I was a kid, I just remember things being there a lot longer than probably what they really were.
Right, but it
you
felt
know?
like
But it
forever.
felt like forever.
I was like that with my dad.
But then, like, oh man. But then, like, you know, she gets a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
You know,
She's loved.
she's very much loved, and I love that. So I don't want her to not appreciate the things that she has. Like, oh, I'll just get another one or get, you know, something to replace it. Like, I want her to appreciate the
Sure.
stuff that she has.
but she's
and-
okay with giving stuff away.
Yeah, but she'll hang on to some stuff from like, really, like,
Yeah.
do you really want to keep that around?
I had a thing. I always wonder about like kids and how normal this is, but I had a thing when I was a kid that like, well, it's kind of like the Toy Story thing. How you kind of,
Yeah.
you feel like your toys are real, you know?
Sure, yeah,
And
yeah.
you grow an attachment to them, and
Well,
you're like,
yeah, and she definitely
I don't
has
want it
her
to be sad.
special-
If I give that toy away,
Yeah.
it's going to be very sad.
Well, and
know?
I think I talked about this before, but I'll mention it again. One thing that we did, we were at Target one time, and she saw this Yoshi plushie that she really wanted, and I said, okay, but you need to pay for it with your own money because she has her own money, and you also, when we get home, you need to throw away 10 of your other stuffed animals.
Woof.
And she looked at me like in shock. And I was like, that's the deal. And I said, you can hang on to it until we get up to the register. You can think about it. And if that's what you want to do. And she said, okay. And so we get up to the register and I said, what's the choice? And she said, I want to get it. And I said, okay, as soon as we get home, we are getting a garbage bag and we are putting 10 of your other stuffed animals.
Oh my gosh, that would make me
To
so
give
sad.
away.
My little self.
And she said, okay. And I said, all right. So we went home and we put 10 in. She picked 10 out. And she appreciated that Yoshi for the next several weeks. Like, it didn't leave her side. That was her go-to one for a while. So I thought, like one, the lesson is she used her own money and she had to, you know, get rid of something. So I thought it was a good lesson. And it didn't look like we got rid of anything, Chris. Like, like it didn't look like we got rid of 10, you know? So
10 is nothing.
that is nothing. So, you know, but no, it's good. It's just good to purge. And there's just things that they're like, and I don't know why I don't know why I don't let go of some things, you know?
Like,
I mean, if you look over there, like there's things in baskets over there that like, I mean, you can't really see it from here, but like, but
and
there's
no
just,
one
there's
listening
just
can.
right. Yeah. There's just junk.
Yeah.
Like I could literally probably throw at least half of all the stuff in those bins away, and I would not miss it at all. You know, like why just leave it sitting around? You know, so. But it's exciting. We're excited about all the Hunter's doing a great job. He's done a lot of the demo, so it's pretty much demo, and now he's like patching stuff to make it nice and smooth and clean, and he's going to start painting.
And he's nice to have around. As far
He's
as
just
like,
a pleasant
doesn't-
guy.
Doesn't smell.
No,
He's who he is.
He is very much who he is.
Sober.
Nice.
Early.
You know.
He's a good boy.
No, he shows up every day.
Yeah.
And he's like constantly making noise, so he's not like, I know he's not slacking. Like, you know, you can hear him pounding away.
He's just
you know what I mean? Yeah. He's just sitting there banging on a random wall, like drinking a beer. Like, you know. No, he's just a good dude, and he's doing great work, and I'm excited. Yeah.
It is exciting to get those things done.
Yeah. We've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and we're excited that we get to do it.
And it's nice that he's painting. Painting's the worst.
Yeah, when we had him price out everything, and then we thought about like we probably should paint, and Amy and I were like, I told her, I was like, do we really want to spend every free moment painting for the next several months?
Because it's something you could do.
Oh, you could. We could.
Yeah.
So we had him price it out, and I was like, oh, that's pretty darn reasonable, and that means that we don't have to paint every single weekend. Nights that we're not doing anything. Like I was like, it's worth our money, and it was in the budget, so we did it.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think letting go purging is. I was planning on doing that with my basement this year, especially.
Get Ethan out of there.
Yeah, well, that's part of it.
Yeah, it is part. He's going to college
Later in the year. No, I
I
meant the physical things
Yeah.
that, because I have so much down there, and with the way things are going with the pasta
You added to it.
distribution. Well, yeah. Well, yes and no. Well, we're going to be closing on a building here soon, and it's going to have a ton of space. So, if you guys want to,
That's where you put
Yeah.
Ethan.
that's where I'm.
Little $20 a month
Yeah.
storage fee.
Yeah, no, there's gonna be a ton of room, so I'll be able to dump a lot of
Swiss
stuff. Yeah,
Cool.
I'll be able to dump a lot of stuff. I'll be able to store a lot of stuff. So that'll be nice because it definitely needs to be done. But it is. I actually was thinking about like letting go a lot over the past couple of days, and whenever like with our kids too, when it was Christmas time or it was their birthday, we would tell them, "You're going to get a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give a bunch of stuff away."
Yeah.
And
10
then
to 1.
then we eventually started to tell, the in-laws and the parents and the family, you guys realize that when you buy them this, they're getting rid of other stuff that you probably bought them.
Yep.
And you can't be mad about that. That's the way that we, have that. That's the rule. So it is a very healthy thing to let go. It is a very healthy thing to purge, and not just the physical stuff. There's been a couple things over the past couple weeks where, like, I am personally, professionally, sitting on the verge of some really, really big deals, like life-changing deals, and there's a lot that has to happen from A to B.
Yeah, verge not imminent, but on the verge of.
Yeah,
Like not tomorrow.
like if once these things go through and get set in motion, that opens up a whole chain of events that it kind of becomes exponential.
But work's still to be done is my point. It's not like, hey, this time
no,
tomorrow.
I can't sit. No, right.
You're climbing a beautiful mountain.
Or maybe with a couple of these things. However, there are other people involved in some of these things, and as you know, people can be the worst. and so, like, and I can tell you guys off of the off pod here, but in one of the situations, there's a person that I work with who is one of the dumbest smart people I know. So intelligent, but is very
Couple synapses not cracking.
there's just some things like you don't get
Like super.
there's your reality and then there's actual reality.
Is it like super smart, but
Common sense.
common sense? Yeah, no common
It's like
sense.
book smart. You know how you hear book smart but street
Yeah,
dumb or whatever.
I'm book smart, but I'm street dumb.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of these like, can you read the room a little bit better, and can we not be so.
Socially obtuse and offensive.
And it's not even the person that I think you're thinking of.
Right.
It's somebody else. But it's like, let's be pragmatic here. That's the word I'm looking for. So anyways, for me, I've had to I've had to let go of those situations. Like I was getting all upset on Monday night going to bed. And you know how like God talks to us in a lot of different ways, but I'm going to bed. And I don't know if you guys remember that song, Humble Yourself in the Sight of the Lord.
And he will lift you up.
Yes.
Higher.
And higher. And higher.
And higher.
And
Well, that was also the scripture we used
when?
in the last couple weeks.
Great. Well, as I was going to bed Monday night, like that just like in all of this, like, that thing came up, that song started to play, and I was just like, okay, go.
I looked it up,
Oh.
by the way, and that's almost the entire song.
Yeah, it is. It's very repetitive.
Yes.
However,
Very poignant.
It was very, very much God saying, you know what? What are you so mad about? I got this.
I love that you didn't know that we did that in like 3 sermons in a row.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Jay.
yeah.
Don't be mad about
Oh,
that.
I'm okay. I'm going to pull through. I'm praising God that he gave you that song. Like, I mean, as he did me. And it's a cool song.
Yeah, and so letting go, I think, is kind of a theme, purging things. And I got one more thing to say. I made the best salmon. I had such a good dinner on Monday night. I made this salmon. It's called Marry Me Salmon. And it's like, it's almost, I found my new Alfredo sauce. It was like salmon in what turned out to be an Alfredo sauce.
Okay. Because what's usually with salmon? Like a mustard sauce?
You could do mustard. Barbecue.
Blue balsamic.
Yeah, right. Soy,
Yep.
all kinds of stuff. But this was
Maple?
Yeah. But so
Chestnut?
No.
Oh, we're no, okay.
I cooked it perfectly, and I also did air fried potatoes. I tossed them in olive oil with seasoning, and like potato wedges in the air fryer for like 30 minutes. They turned out perfectly.
Ah, that's great.
And green beans that I did in the cast iron, dude. It was one of the best meals, and it was so much fun to do, and it's so much fun to serve up to the family.
Where'd you get the salmon?
Aldi.
With the always fresh, never frozen stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was
They have
not
a
bad
good
at all.
selection.
You know, it's
Yeah.
actually SAMMON. It's not real salmon. It's salmon. There's no L.
It is not.
I'm just kidding.
You got.
I said that once
I
in
never know what to
Aldi,
believe.
and I had a lady behind me in line go, "He play too much." I said, "I do play." Man, put together a nice meal. That's awesome.
It's
and like
the
you
best,
said,
man.
providing it to your family.
Yeah, that is the best.
And they're old enough that they probably said, "Dad, this is great."
It was-
You got peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
Well, and that's one thing, man. Like, it's one thing if Amy says, like, "Man, this is really good," and that makes me feel great. But if Maggie says it too, like, man, oh,
This
that's the
salmon,
best.
Father, is exquisite.
Is this your new Alfredo?
My update is a continuation of last week's big announcement that I am coming back to being on Young Life staff. I don't know if it was last week. Had I done the paperwork and the clearances and stuff yet last week? Let's say I didn't.
I don't think you did.
It was funny because, JB, my new boss, said, I do have to read an email. But he had said to me, hey, the faster we get this done, we maybe, your start date can be April 1, but, sometimes we can push it through, but sometimes it just takes a while. The website isn't very good
Sure.
and everything else. And so I got all these different classes I had to take and child safety and whatnot. And yes, does I now have my 9th password with a Young Life account because I'm a donor. And every time I log on as a donor, it's like, nah, that ain't your password, pal. Yes, but I did it in like 3 hours. And I was like,
And then you change it, and then it's like, you can't use an old password. You're like,
right. But anyhow, so I got that all done. And I described last week how I'm excited about so many different things. I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but I'm excited. Well, this week, even more things, like another volunteer leader who I'm going to meet tomorrow. don't know where she'll go. Monday, I got a phone call from a guy who wants to start Young Life at Trinity Christian School, which we had it there years ago with a different administration who did not want us there because, of course, Trinity Christian, they're all Christians. So I was wildly unpopular back in the day. But now this administration's excited. So, like, I haven't even started Penn Hills yet, but now we're going to open yet another school.
Yeah. Things are
So
happening.
that happened, and then I've met with the Young Life staff person today and the Woodland Hills staff person tomorrow, and I figured out my analogy, which is I have a bunch of beautiful puzzle pieces, and God gives me more puzzle pieces every day, and I'm like, man, that is a cool puzzle piece, and that one is cool. I'm like, how do they go together?
You mean for your life in general?
No, specifically with Young Life.
Okay.
You know, with this whole new thing. And I'm like, how do they go together? I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you going to use all of them? I'm not sure. I think so. But this is exciting.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm just very pumped up about it. But what's funny is I was very excited that in a sneaky way, I've come back on staff having been on committee for years.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I don't feel like it,
You're like a player's coach.
basically at this point. But our committee is known as one of the best in Pittsburgh with the people that we have and the number of people that we have and the quality and the experience that they have. And I went, I'm going to inherit the best committee I've ever had. I'm like, that is so exciting because I used to just be sort of the Lone Ranger. People would meet with you once a month. I didn't know how to challenge people, whatever
You
else.
might have some influence on that council.
Yes, but here's the beauty of it all. The guy who took over for me as committee chair is having to take a step back. He's got some family issues he's dealing with. He goes, you know, I got to take a step back. And he said, somebody's going to have to step in for me. So here's what JB replied. And you tell me JB is not a talented individual. He said, typically in the absence of a committee chairperson, this would fall on the area director, which is the role I just took.
Right.
He goes, so we will now have Jay, the former chair, be the acting chair, stepping in for the interim chair who stepped in when Jay left.
Wow.
That's outstanding.
You're your own acting chair.
And somehow my assistant and also my superior. I'm going to call me in and have a whiz bang of a meeting.
The only person qualified to be your assistant is you.
It would be me to be my chair. The only person that could be my chair would be me.
That's a good office throwback.
Yes. So that's my update. I'm
That's great.
excited. Froze to death today at a baseball game and found out now I'm the site manager for the junior high softball game tomorrow where Abby's going to be playing. So I have to-
Nice.
I have to sign
That's
in the
exciting,
officials and call the police if there is a tragedy. That's not physical because the trainer would do that. We should call
a
911.
mental tragedy.
I would say a criminal.
Oh, okay.
A mental tragedy. Yeah, that girl really, she's breaking down over there.
Let's call the
Call the
police.
cops. I admire, Jay, your positive, like your ability to shuffle the puzzle pieces and be like, this is awesome.
And to be okay with it being like,
Yeah.
"No, I don't know.
And
This is
his
exciting."
ability to
Yeah.
be his own committee. That's pretty impressive.
The chair. I still have a committee
All
for
right.
now.
Close enough.
I haven't had a meeting yet.
All right, bring us down, Chris.
All right. Yeah, this is sad. This is very sad. No, I don't know if you guys know, I haven't been on pod for a month.
You've been on
full
pod for a
month.
month?
Yeah, it's been
We've missed you.
since Valentine's Day.
Wow.
That time-ish period.
That would be 6 weeks, but whatever.
Is it seriously? Holy crap.
I don't know if you've been off for 6 weeks, but Valentine's Day was 5.5 weeks ago.
I don't know if I've been off, but I haven't been on. Yeah, and we've just had health issues in the family. Like, I don't want to go too crazy into detail, but like stuff with our parents and Amy's dad also moved, so we were, dealing with that a lot. Just a busy, weird time where you feel like you every corner that you turn, somebody's ready there to punch you.
There's no real
Wow.
It's a
stability.
surprise little pop.
There's no real
Yeah.
stability, but you're not getting a new floor and new paint.
No, but funny enough, we talked to Hunter about a
yeah,
week ago.
yeah.
Did he mention it?
Yeah.
He said, well, I'm working at the Hammonds right now, but I'll be done there in
I don't know.
a couple months.
I don't think it'll be that long. I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't know how long, but I don't think it's going to be
But
that
he said,
long.
well, maybe he didn't mean just your house, but he said, I'm
Yeah.
working over at the Hammonds right now, but I could fit you guys in maybe in a few months. So we might be right behind you or shortly behind you for our upstairs bathroom, which badly needs, since we moved in, it's needed redone.
Hasn't
So-
gotten any better.
Actually, no.
Self-healed.
We gave it time. We thought it would, but it just no.
If only.
But I have my mental state has been like roller coaster too, like in dealing with it. Like sometimes I'm more overwhelmed than others. This week I'm feeling very, and last week I was sick too, so obviously that's going to drag me down and feel like I don't have energy to deal with any of this stuff. This week I'm on the uptick again, and I'm feeling like, you know what, I can ride it. I can figure out these puzzle pieces, and I can just go from task to task, and just all I can do is one thing at a time, and just that's how it's going to be.
And every time you do one thing, get rid of 10.
That's right. That's what I should do. That's a great. I'm going to use the Maggie stuffed animal
There you go.
Principle.
Thank you. Where
Patent pending.
I do one job on my list and just check off 10. Perfect.
Not getting dressed today.
I had
No
to check
more
off
bathing.
10.
Woke up. Check.
Check.
Don't have to do 10 other things.
See you at 8 p.m.
But on the positive, and I really have been chomping at the bit to share this with you guys. Around Valentine's Day, I accidentally, unplannedly started a very fun hobby
All right.
because Amy gave me my Valentine's gift, and I open it up, and it is a record player.
Oh, no way.
And I was like,
That's cool.
that's cool. I never really over the years you're like, oh, I wonder if should I do records? Nah, I don't really like collect things, and I don't really do. No, that's all right. Records are cool, but it's not for me. So anyway, it's not like I had been asking for one, but I open up a record player, and I'm like, okay, well, thanks, honey. That's neat. I wasn't overwhelmed by it or anything. It opened something in me.
Yeah.
And
It's a thing, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she got me a record player and 4 records. And the very next day we were off on our late winter getaway, our long weekend. We went to Canton, Ohio. And while there, we're visiting antique shops and thrift stores.
They're gonna
and
be
things.
you're on the hunt now.
And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can wonder what records they got.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this one. There's this old John Denver, and there's this.
Please tell me you have a Doors added to your collection.
I was thinking Carpenters.
I do not have Carpenters yet. I do have Doors, the first album.
Yes.
I have gone
No Chili Peppers?
from clearly 0 records.
Oh, boy.
To about 30.
Yeah, buddy.
And I've just been like.
Well, and you can find deals. I mean, it's not, like you can spend money,
Right.
But you can also.
It's not cheap
go
if you buy a popular one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've
or
been
a newer
told
one.
is
But if you go we were at a record. Sorry to interrupt.
Please.
But if we were in when we were in Nashville, we went to this guy had a small record store, and I mean there were collectible items like he
Right.
had some Zeppelin that was $100. He had a Taylor Swift that was like 400 or whatever. It's like, things like that.
Yeah.
old
But
traditional Taylor Swift
Yeah.
vinyl.
But you
Come with
go,
herpes.
but that's the thing. Vinyl's come back. Everybody is doing vinyl again.
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool. But the other great thing is you can go to an antique store or a flea market, and you can find that gem that you've been looking for
Yeah.
$5,
Right.
and then you got it.
I bought some for 50 cents at one thrift store.
Yeah, there you go.
And I've also bought some for $20-some.
Right.
So it's not, it could be however inexpensive you want it to be. But I'm telling you, a big part of it, I'm sure, is nostalgia because it's taken me back to childhood. But it hit some nerve in a positive
Frequency?
way. Yeah, it hit a very positive frequency. And, I'm just loving it. Every night, that is my cool down time. My calm, I just
Man, that's awesome.
put on a record.
I love that.
It is fantastic. And I don't even.
I feel like the best part of the record is the scratch as you set it down before the music hits.
Yeah.
When you
It's
just hear
very
the record,
cozy.
you could just play a record of no
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
and just be like,
It's a
Yeah.
little static.
You do know somebody in the vinyl industry. You know that.
You?
No.
Who?
Mike Y.
I did not know he was
He is
involved in
the-
vinyl.
He's
That's
the
right.
sales rep for the only vinyl production plant in however many states. Like it's
What?
downtown Pittsburgh, and they press vinyl.
Of course
and
he
he's
is.
their sales rep.
Oh, I will have
Yeah.
to have a
He's back and
conversation with
forth
him.
to New
about
York
right.
And
all
you
the
know,
time.
it's funny because I'm not like I don't collect things either. Like
Yeah.
I've never really. The only thing I collected when I was a kid was like baseball cards. And even then it wasn't a great
Right.
thing. But the one thing that I feel like I could get into is records. Because like you can turn it on, you
Yeah.
can do something with it, and they sound great.
It really does sound great. And I am really enjoying the tactileness of it after being so into the streaming thing and getting rid of, CDs over the years and things and like just going all streaming. And now I'm like amazed that I could put this record on and be like, that music is right there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
right in that room.
and it's still magic.
Yeah.
It
You're right.
is.
It is
It
really
really
cool.
is.
The way they do it's
Record
amazing.
technology is unbelievable.
And she got me. It's not like top of line turntable or anything. It's not junk either.
Christmas is coming.
It has a very nice needle on it, which actually is called a stylus, by the way. But it's like an all-in-one, so it has like a built-in speaker. But that's my next thing. My birthday's coming up in May, and I'm like, yeah, I want to get, and I'm going vintage. I really want to get
Techniques.
like a 1970s. Well, no, I'm not doing turntable. I'm going to keep this turntable for a while, and I want a vintage receiver,
Like
and
hi-fi.
speakers. Yes,
Played on the hi-fi.
and I
If you
want
want
to.
to fix ours? We have one in the basement.
Do you really? Oh, and that sparked my memory. We were talking about getting rid of stuffed animals and like how long do you hold on to things? This does make me sad. Up until 1 year ago, I had held on to the speakers from my high school stereo, which they weren't top of the line or anything, but they were decent. They're Iowas, and just from an all-in-one speaker system, but they were really
Nice sounding.
nice sounding. Thank
Yeah.
you. I kept those suckers for like 30 years, always saying,
Yeah.
I never know if I'll need them.
Yeah.
I never know if I'll need them.
Now
And a
you
year
don't have
ago,
'em.
a year
Yeah.
ago, I was like, nah, these have been gathering dust for 30 years. I'm finally getting rid of them. And now I wish I had them.
Yeah. You ever go to the Exchange out in Monroeville?
We stopped at one
You are now.
in Squirrel Hill, maybe. I have not been to the one I didn't know there was one in Monroeville.
Oh, dude, they have a lot.
I'm excited.
They have a lot of records, and in the back, they have like older old speakers and old receivers.
Oh man, I'm
So,
so excited! I
definitely
did
go
not
check
know
them
that
out.
was there. I thought I had to take a trip at least into like Squirrel Hill or
No, Monroeville, dude, it's awesome.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, dude, I want to go with you.
Let's do it tomorrow, tonight.
Okay. That's the show, everybody.
about it?
I mean, that was a long update. That's one of the longest we've ever
That's
had.
been
Sorry,
a while since
yeah.
we've been
Yeah.
together.
But that's exciting, man. I'm happy for you.
I think it's one of the longest since we had. I think we're talking tires on Teslas was when we had ones that went away.
Oh my gosh.
But as it is, we are grateful for the friendships, the brotherhood that we have around this table, and those who sit at the head of the table. And they get all the perks and the benefits and the status along with that. Everybody who sits with us by watching on YouTube, many more people just download and listen to us. You're all sitting at the table. But people like Bethany Jaworski, Mary Lynn, Larianne, Hooked on Groot podcast, Breaking 90. Did I skip any? I tried to do it all by memory there. They all sit at the head of the table by going to lunchtimeinroom.com and becoming a paid subscriber, and they help basically produce this entire podcast. And we are so very grateful, and we hope their highest emotional need is appreciation, because then we would appreciate them and we would be meeting their needs. And so as I was putting together the podcast this week, I thought, we talk a lot about hurts. We talk a lot about missing. We talk about grieving and mourning and blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to lift up, the people that really meet our emotional needs. So my first goal this week was reaching out to people on my Facebook page and just saying, here's emotional needs. What's your highest, and who meets them? And other than your immediate spouse or something like that. And it's so funny because you want to make a post like that short, but I wanted to add in unless of course it's affection, nobody but your spouse should be meeting your need for affection. But I was
All the qualifiers.
no. Yeah, it's too wordy. So I
Yeah.
just left it out. And we only got 3. So for the first part of our time tonight, I do want to lift up and comment on the 3 people that we got.
Yeah.
The first is Rin McConnell. You all are familiar with her daughter, Rory.
And some of us are familiar with Ren.
Oh, yeah.
Some
I met her for the first time at the last Friday Night Live.
lovely woman. She said comfort, security, and validation, which isn't inherently one of the ones, but validation is belonging. I think.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Well, it's
Or appreciation,
belonging
maybe?
/ I would say
Acceptance.
no,
No.
I would say it's belonging / respect.
I was gonna say respect.
I see you as
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are her highest needs. And she goes, the mental and emotional loads are a lot.
A lot.
With capital. Yeah.
Capital lot.
But my point is, the question was, what are your highest emotional
Yeah.
needs?
And who meets them?
Who meets them?
Oy.
And that makes me sad.
She forgot that part.
I hope she forgot that part. And keeping in that same vein, we're going to go to our good buddy,
Yeah.
Dan Leopold. We're skipping B. We're going to go to C.
Whoa. We usually end with Dan.
Greatest emotional need? Tough question. But after some thought, I'd say it's knowing my family, meaning his people and his pets, friends and students are safe and happy. So that would be
Security.
simple. And if I
Maybe a little bit of belonging.
Knowing my family, that sounds like
knowing that my family
That they're
sorry.
safe, but like I feel
they're
like
safe.
Oh, comma.
But
Gotcha.
I feel like I feel like
If he
there's
doesn't have
there's some
family and
belonging
friends-
in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I feel like
He goes, who meets this need more than my sweeties? Yes, that's plural because she's my everything. That's his wife. The most? And he said, that's an easy answer. My pets. Quite literally, I wake up to them basically saying, Dad, get up. It's going to be an exciting day and I'm hungry. When I leave for work, I give them a little pet on the head and tell them I love them. And they look back at me like, okay, I'll wait for you. And then when I get home, I'm greeted by them exuding joy and happiness that I'm home and can take them for a walk. At the end of the day, they literally put me to bed with purrs and rubs, hoping those are the cats. Because he does have horses. I don't know how many people exist without furry little creatures running around their lives. In closing, I shed positive light on the pets in our lives. And please remember to adopt and don't shop for your furry family members.
That definitely feels like belonging to me. Like he feels that sense of like the approval. He belongs with the pets. Like or how am I trying to say?
Well,
Somebody help me out.
I feel like we could like do a whole episode on pets and how they meet emotional needs.
Yeah.
Because like you want some comfort, you got a dog cuddles up next to you, makes you feel, and then there's also belonging there. Like you're my pack.
Acceptance.
I was
how
going
many
to say
people
I did.
abuse
I
dogs
did.
and dogs just come back every time. No, I love
Well,
you.
and like I did something wrong. So and so hates me, and that pet's just right there for you, no matter what.
Hey, Odyssey
Oh man,
or Audacity.
Audacity. We're switching to that.
It's turning out to be the worst in the Odyssey. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah.
That's what we record with, and it freezes from time to time, and that causes Eric to do much work.
There are 2 people whose heads I would like to journey into, but I'm also afraid to.
I don't think you'd be afraid of going to dance.
That'd be yours.
Ooh, that one you should be afraid of.
And Dan's not afraid. Just that would be like
Carnival?
going through the looking glass or down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
This little slice of life of Dan's is so fun to me.
Yeah, he always
appreciate
writes
this,
in
Dan.
great comments.
And the thing is, Dan, he has like a group of guys that he plays poker with. Dan's not an isolationist by any stretch of the imagination, a nation. But I will say his need for security is high.
Really?
And
well, I mean,
he says that.
he says that.
He does. And so I think that coincides with, okay, it's my wife and it's my pets. Because I know he's got other people in his life.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm not risking that.
Right.
I'm not going to risk that and be responsible for that and be hurt by that.
It's only the
Whereas
people
I can
inside
predict,
the walls.
I know, and I know what they do. Look, I mean, look at the consistency
Yeah.
of the pets. Like animals are pretty consistent,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, that's very indicative. There's certainly just no judgment with that. And so, as far as per the question that I asked, Christy Fraccioni, stone's throw from here right now. Neighbor of Eric's,
Let's not throw
in the
stones,
house.
though.
No.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Well, it's not a glass house, so we can.
Well, still, it's not nice.
Right. While I'm blessed and grateful for all of the emotional support I get from friends and family, my actual needs are few. Do we pause on that?
Well, I mean, some people.
Does she mean her unmet needs? We all have emotional needs.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
But I mean, some people.
I think she's saying
Are
of my
only-
want.
You think she's poo-pooing needs at all? Like,
No, I think
We can-
some people might only have 2 emotional needs that are high, like really high.
Yeah, she may be saying she doesn't feel like she's an emotional needy person. Like
Right.
she's
that's true.
stable.
Well, and we've had people take the test where they're like, a 10 on one thing and really nothing much else,
Of your list, I think validation, which I swear I did not write that down.
That's the second time that
I
I
know.
think
I'll bring it up. Never mind. I know I didn't. Maybe my requirement for peace of mind. And other than Mike, her husband, I found my biggest source of validation has been from my beloved book club. Can we give a shout out to the book club?
Yeah.
A group of friends coming alongside.
I give a shout out to the book club.
There are 5 of us who meet once a month, and I may be mostly sane because of them. They've been my lifeline, grounding rod, and validation. Shout out to my gals, Kelly, Nyla, Lisa, and Claire, of which I know all 4 of them, unless that's 5. 4. Love y'all, and as Mr. Rogers says, thank you for just being you. So shout out to those ladies in the book
Yeah.
club. That's pretty awesome.
That is.
What do you think that is? Belonging?
Yeah.
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 But also security, consistency. She knows they're there every month. It's acceptance.
she makes it sound like it's
you
a
being
comforting
you.
group too. Like that they come alongside each other and
Comfort,
they
yeah.
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Wish I had a group like that.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and you asked Jay, who we've besides our spouse, it is you guys. I mean, I think that we were all probably. I mean,
That was making this hard.
yeah,
Because I was like, well,
No,
it's everybody that.
Making this.
Yeah. What did I say?
I know you like us, Eric, but
Wow.
no, that
He heard. Never mind. Just
Okay.
keep going. We'll explain it
It's
later.
just-
inappropriate, Chris.
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
Yeah. I don't even know what I said, but
Go play your records.
it makes this hard.
boner.
Okay.
Well,
That's the second time
sounded
that's
like
been
you
on the
said-
podcast.
now the boner's
Shout out
out
to
of the
sounded
bag.
like
shout
you
out to
said-
Luke.
it's
So yes, so, I mean, unequivocally, you guys are it. But I was also just thinking too, back during COVID, like early COVID, 2020, 2021, I started putting together Friday night hockey out at the deck in Murraysville. And it was a pickup game every single week. And every single week I'd start texting guys, who wants to come out? We got to pay a fee. And
masks.
yeah, we got to play with masks on. Yeah. And there was a point where like it hit me. I was like, I'm an outlaw right now for driving over
Yeah.
to this place to play hockey. I'm an outlaw. I could like, according to what they're so.
It's good save. Good
was
save.
really good.
Real good save.
I digress, but like we still talk about it. Boom! There goes the dynamite. We still talk about it to this day. That like that core group of guys that we did it for over a year, almost 2 years, I think. Where until things kind of got back to normal, we still talk about how that kind of saved our lives. Those times brought sanity. They brought clarity. They brought just this sense of belonging. They brought
Normalcy, which is
normalcy.
security, because it was a very insecure time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's you guys and that time capsule for me.
Yeah.
I just want I wrote on my post was, let's reverse the negativity in our world. What is your greatest emotional need? Things like respect, appreciation, affection, belonging, security, encouragement, support, acceptance, being loved even though you've erred, attention, and comfort. Further, who, besides your spouse if you'd like, meets your number one need the most and how? Let's shed a positive light on the people in our lives. Then tune in to Lunchtime Around, blah, 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 blah. Guess what word you didn't hear in any of that?
Validation.
Orange.
Both.
That's amazing that it got 2 responses.
I wonder if somebody said one and then somebody else,
Right.
You know,
Piggybacked off the other.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mine would be Max. Our boy
Go.
Max.
There you go.
Yeah.
did he ever
missed
make
that
it
guy.
onto this podcast?
I don't think he has.
I don't think he made it.
I don't think so.
We could definitely have him
Let
on.
me go
though.
through my 270. No.
We can get him on.
So Max,
Yeah, Max is a guy. So I don't get to. If you don't know me, I love to game. I love video games, and it's one of my favorite things. Been doing it all my life, and I don't get a ton of time to play video games. But Max is probably one of the only people that like our schedules line up, and we enjoy the same game together. So. And whenever you do that with somebody, like it just opens up conversation. You just get to talking and you just get to sharing life. And, you know, he also lived in this neighborhood for a while, so we'd go on walks together and
Those were the
stuff.
days.
Those were the days. He actually told me the other day, he's like, man, I miss that when we just lived, you know, right there. And I was like, yep, you could have stayed.
Could have stayed.
But no, he's always there. And like I remember when I think this was a couple of years ago, but we were talking about like who would we have caddy for us at disc golf, and I was like, I think it'd be Max. Like he's calm under pressure because he's a nurse,
Encouraging.
He's a registered nurse, and he's encouraging, and he's just I have a high need of, I have a high need of acceptance, and I have a higher need of encouragement. So like he's great for that kind of stuff. So outside of Amy, obviously, and you guys, like that would be my go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Max is that guy.
Max is that guy.
quality human.
So I was racking my brain. I don't think I really have anybody outside of you guys.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. So I'm going to go a different route.
Well, but I mean, one of your highest is respect,
Yes.
and you are respected at your job.
Yes.
That's true.
And I was going to mention how over the past few years, just because of this group, because of our podcast, I've become so much more attuned to like other people either meeting or taking from my emotional needs, So like it's no specific person, but I'm just thankful that I have moments where I'm reflecting on a conversation I had at work or whatever, it could even be as simple as like an exchange with somebody at the grocery store, whatever. But recognizing those moments like, oh, you filled my cup right there. You met this need in me. And, I never tell them that. Is that bad?
Would be awkward. No, if you said it like that, it would be very awkward. But it does help you identify, like, hey, wow, thank you. Like you're aware of it. And we're going to get to that in a second.
I definitely. It's nice to call that out because I'll do that with people at work. Because when I was like racking my brain, then like Max came to my head. I was like, oh, it's Max, duh. But I was thinking about people at work and like things that they said to me in times where like I've felt like not qualified or something like that, and they give me the reassurance and the encouragement, and I let them know that because then like I feel like that like you'll get that more if like you're saying like I appreciate your encourement so much. That's really important.
The
to me.
roadmap to here, if you want to do something nice for me, do that again.
The encouragement that you gave me was great. Like just hammering that home. Like I don't need anything else from you, but when you encourage me, that's awesome.
You know what else is awesome?
God, it's awesome.
Groot.
Groot is awesome.
He has arrived.
All right, my man.
I love when people announce their arrival.
Yes.
Him and Big Guy.
Big Guy both. And all tipping their hat.
To Phyllis Feeney Johnson.
Phyllis Feeney Johnson, and way back in the day,
Josh Hughes.
Josh Hughes. Man,
Josh
R.I.P.
Hughes. Yeah, he's still alive.
He's not dead.
No, he just moved, and somehow you can't.
Nope.
Nope. Stop.
Limitations.
So mine is a little more. I don't even know how I would say.
Nuanced.
It presents more questions because I would say my two highest are appreciation and respect. If I say who meets my need for appreciation and respect, I would say, everyone that I meet, like anyone who knows me that I interact with, church people, people in the school, people in Young Life, people at Aldi, people at not so much Jen Eagle, actually.
Yeah, John
It's
Eagle.
hard place
No.
stuff. But though I did make friends with a girl the other day. She was checking out, and I think I won her over. But the point of the story is, I feel like everybody gives me respect. I mean, now when I was coaching, okay, there were some people that came after me, no respect. I get it out, certainly didn't appreciate whatever else. But I wonder, it's like I'm wondering why that is. Like, why am I so blessed to have that? Is it because I present it and I validate it when, but like when somebody appreciates me, I thank them and I reinforce that to them.
Yeah.
Is it because I always think, so that's the first thing is
I
why
think that'd be for some of
why,
them.
at church, I follow different people on Twitter and stuff like that. And they talk about, it's a lonely road being a pastor. And people are always coming after you, and they're always telling you how they let them down, and you weren't there for them. And I'm like, no, And very often, I feel like I've let people down, especially like end of life times. Man, I wasn't there for them enough. I didn't visit them enough, and then I get a card. I can't believe how well you loved us. Thank you so much. And I'm beating myself up, saying, you're no pastor. You're not there for them.
Yeah.
So. I don't know why that is.
I do think that you're similar with Chris. Your receptivity, your understanding fills that wherever it may be.
I think it's the way you present yourself too. Like when you will give a person attention. Like, you will, and you're meeting their emotional needs.
Mm-hmm.
So and I feel like whenever you do that, other people will gravitate towards you, which is kind of automatically respect, because they go to you for stuff, or they go to you for, whatever issue they're having or whatever problem or anything like that. They go to you because you're putting that out all the time. You're giving people compliments, you're encouraging people, you're telling them, like, even though you did this thing, God still loves you. You're putting all, like, I
do give a lot of acceptance.
You're doing all the emotional needs, like, going out there. So I feel like, not that I'm like a you get what you give kind of guy, but like,
no,
but it's some factors, like, yeah.
No, it's a great point that I think we could do this as a topic sometime, but like that people are drawn to people who meet their emotional needs.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like duh, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But
If you hand out $100 a day to everyone you see, they're going to follow you.
But Jay is like, like Eric's saying, like, you're someone who is clearly, that's like your primary function in a way. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you do. You go and you meet.
More my mode of operandi.
Yeah. And you meet those
think my
emotional
function
needs.
is to
So
both sort of guide
it's
my
like
life
this
and
natural thing. Subconscious even, like, people are,
Right.
whether they think about it or not, they're like, oh, Jay would be a good person to talk to with this.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jay. Oh man, he makes me happy when I see him.
Yeah.
Oh, and they might not even know why, but that's why.
Yeah.
I like your answer better than mine. And it sounds like we're making this about me, and it's
Your
not.
answer
but it
was
just,
validation.
No, it's good.
yes, always
good thing.
validation. Sunday school, the answer is Jesus. Podcast, the answer is validation. No, for me, I was thinking a lot of it is the fact that I've kind of built up my little fiefdom here in Penn Hills, and to some degree in the greater Pittsburgh area in some circles, and so therefore nobody's going to like just disrespect me. It's like he's known as the good guy. Oh, he's the guy that lost the son. He's the guy who's been around forever. He's the one who's always learned this. You're not going to come at me. But wait, I'm going to give myself a bonus point.
That's fine.
Because in coaching, there were times when parents would say to me, I would say, just, why are you coming to me about playing time? Tell your daughter to come and talk to me. And they'd be like, no, you intimidate them. And I'd be like, I'm the most approachable person in the world.
Right, yeah.
I'm Jay Mitlow.
Yeah.
Anybody can come and talk to me. And they're like, you don't realize how intimidating you are. And so I've been like,
As a coach, like from a coach perspective?
Nobody said that to me like outside of
As
coaching.
a pastor.
Right. I feel like coaching is a specific
think so.
thing, though.
I wouldn't use the word intimidating, but I would say you are
You have high standards.
forward.
Yeah.
You're very outspoken.
Yeah,
So-
you're very direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Because
Yeah.
that used to be one of my favorite things. Why aren't I playing more? Because you're not as good as she is.
Yeah.
They'd be like, and they're like, well,
Like, oh,
and you
dang,
don't work as hard. So move along, work harder, get better.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
But my point is, I'm also aware of that. I'm aware that I live a large life. I'm relatively well known, so I don't try to use that or flaunt that, and so I'm approachable, and therefore,
Right. Well, and I know people in Penn Hills that have
that hate you.
no. I know people in Penn Hills that have status I won't mention any names.
Sure.
I'm sure we could come up with one right now.
We're all thinking the same
Sending
one.
that vibe out there. And I don't respect this person at all. But she's somebody.
Or he.
Or he.
But she.
That's a very valid point. I wanted to go just one last place here as we wrap this up. But when I put out a question on Facebook, I get on average 18 to 30 responses.
Yeah.
For this one, I got 3.
Yeah.
And my question is, why do you think that is?
I feel like
Didn't
there's
use the word validation.
a lot of people that haven't listened to 278 episodes of Lunchtime
Too,
in a
so
Row and
too,
put into
too
practice.
much inside baseball.
Maybe if you're asking them, well, no, because you listed them. You listed
I
which
sure
of
did.
these.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like it's the people just aren't having their needs met.
So you think it's their needs aren't met?
Right.
I think people are really waiting for Easter and they're preoccupied.
So the calendar mistake.
Yeah. So they couldn't get on,
They're
couldn't
right
get on
in the middle of
Facebook.
Lent.
It's the more
They're
macro.
wall to wall getting ready for Easter.
No, I think it's people aren't getting their needs met, and I also there might be some sensitivity of people not wanting to post and not mention somebody that.
They don't want to point out one.
This is my
Need
acceptance,
for
kind of like
acceptance, right.
showing.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to say somebody and not somebody else when that somebody else really doesn't meet my emotional need. you
Or they
know?
do, but just doesn't come to mind. So
right.
They don't want to single out one person.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Or they're just not into emotional needs.
Yeah, but you should be though. Man.
See, I think it's our greatest failure in 278 episodes.
Everybody's into emotional needs.
They just don't know it.
yeah.
Right.
What's our greatest failure?
That
That we only got 3 responses to this?
no, that more people like I can talk about emotional needs and like, oh yeah, right, cool. Like they don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand it the way we understand it.
Right.
That it's not the cheat code to life.
Well,
It's the code.
I'm not going to mention any names, but like even at church, you do like there's at our church, Jay does a segment called "Learn to Love," and it's all about emotional needs. He gives you examples of situations in life.
Scripture.
In Scripture, it's biblical. He gives you action to take
Practical
and how to do it.
application.
And man, there are people that I don't know if they just glaze over during that 5 minutes that he's talking. Like, it's not long. It's like it's very tangible. It's not like it's not rocket science. But man, it just does not go.
And there are some who have been there for 8 years that like I will see after 8 years, they're like, but that wouldn't be meeting your emotional needs. And I'm like, there you go. 8 years, not bad.
yeah.
So no, that's just my, it's sort of like teaching the levels of the different reasons why people love. That I wasn't getting a whole lot of feedback on that. But when I switched it to why people don't love you, people were like, oh yeah, that tracks. And so I don't know. It was just interesting to me.
Yeah.
I think it's a deep subject. Like for some people, it could be opening Pandora's box for people. When I say deep, I mean like they don't want to admit that they need or that they
and
like
if they look around and they don't have anybody.
And even like Christy Frascione, who
yeah.
I not calling her out because her answer is great, but just I think a lot of us have that feeling of like, well, yeah, I don't need much. I don't have much.
Sure.
You don't want to like we all
Right.
not
We'll
not,
give her credit for saying,
Yeah.
I don't have many high emotional needs.
Right.
Where some people are like, I'm fine.
right. And we all I think
That's a lot of people.
there's a natural
Which she's
human
definitely not saying.
Right.
No,
Right,
I
right,
didn't mean
right.
to no.
Yeah.
But like
Why do you hate her?
oh, she's the worst.
The way she's always just giving and loving and
Going to our
supporting
book
others.
clubs.
I think humans naturally, like we just like build those barriers,
Yeah.
And like a big part of what we're doing with this subject, this podcast, is like purposefully taking those barriers down. Open, honest, vulnerable is
Yep.
all about like
Yep.
the opposite of that. But it's not necessarily the habit that people have been accustomed to. So then you ask them a question about like, well, what do you need? And they're like,
Go away, creep.
what do you need?
I would say also, I go back to the phrase we came up with, which was if you are not aware of your emotions, you'll be manipulated by your feelings. Gosh, I see that everywhere. And they're just, they don't know why they're so angry or why they're so upset. And, so I am grateful for each and every person that sits with us at the table. There are many of you. Most of you don't know each other, but I get those encouragements from time to time when somebody's like, yeah, I know, I was listening. And I'm like, oh, right. Sorry, I forgot we do this and actually broadcast it out for people to listen to.
Yeah.
So for those of you that get it, you are in an elite club. We wish it weren't so elite, but it sure is. And so keep doing it and keep meeting people's emotional needs and being open and honest, vulnerable, and keep coming to us when you get hurt, because not everybody is.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for episode 278. Join us next week live on Wednesday night around 8:30 for episode 279 on YouTube. Between now and then, please give us a like or follow on social media. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
Look out for our podcast on vinyl coming soon. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.